Hey, welcome to Ron's Garage, except I'm in my living room. Here we are, early December, and I just wanted to show you something that it's kind of like a popular demand type of video. Recently, I've acquired a couple of very special horns. One of them was an Olds P16 custom crafted trombone. That's very hard to find and very cool. And just yesterday, I pulled in a Holton TR100, which is also very hard to find and very cool. And I'm going to do a little presentation and comparison here of three horns. So it'll be the Holton TR 100. It's going to be the Martin 4501, the urbie green model, and it's going to be the Olds P16. Each of these horns were produced between the early to mid 1970s and into the I believe the TR 4501 actually was produced well into the early 2000s. But here, take a look. Here they are in my living room. It's kind of Christmas season. So let's take a look over here. Okay, so we have the Holton TR101. And right here we have the Martin 4501. Now, I added that counterweight. It's a king style counterweight. The horn doesn't really need a counterweight because the braces are solid in the way that they designed and balanced the horn, as it was pretty good, but I just wanted a little more heft in the back because I'm getting old. Okay, and then here is the Olds P16 custom crafted tenor trombone. Now, here's some statistics for each of these horns. So we'll start with the P16. This particular one was produced in 1977, 2 years before Olds folded. Okay, so it has a 7.5-inch bell. The outer slide, which is usually the measure of whether or not a slide is lightweight or not lightweight, is 7 ounces on the nose according to my postal scale. And the gross weight of the entire horn is 3 pounds and 0.6 ounces. So 3 pounds and half an ounce, okay, which is pretty common for tenor trombone. Okay, actually most are a little heavier. So here's the Martin TR4501. This was made again with a serial number that starts in the 200s in the early to mid 70s. I don't have the exact date on it because they're hard to find. The Martin TR4501 has has a bell diameter of 7 3/4. Now, there have been a few reviewers, including Keith over at Schmidt Music, saying it's an 8-inch bell, but I took a ruler to it this morning and mine says 7 3/4, which is funny because that's the same bell diameter as the 4510, which is the Dave Steinmeier custom model. So this one has a 7 3/4-inch bell. Okay, the weight of the outer slide on the Martin TR4501 is 7.8 ounces. So that's considered a standard weight slide. It's not a lightweight slide. Lightweight slides usually fall at 7 ounces or less. But the overall gross weight of this horn without the counterweight, because the horn wasn't sold with a counterweight, I added the counterweight. So taking the counterweight away, the gross weight of the entire horn is 2 pounds and 8.6 ounces, which is crazy light for a trombone made in the 1970s or 80s. So it's very light. Okay, now we come over here to the Holton TR100, and the TR100 produced in 1972 based on its serial number. The outer slide on this is 6.5 ounces. 6.5 ounces is pretty light. That's the weight that I usually get with my lightweight cons, like the Con 24, the Con 48H, the Con 5H. Those slides are about 6.5 ounces in terms of a lightweight slide. Also, I found that one model of the Getzen 300 student horn is about 6.5 ounces. I thought that was kind of crazy for a student horn. Okay, the bell diameter on this precisely is 7 inches and 7/8. 7 7/8 inches. It's a little more than 7 3/4, and it's a little less than 8. So, and this comes with a rose brass bell, nickel outers. Okay, the Martin also comes with nickel outers. The P16 does not come with nickel outers or even a nickel crook. So, and if you kind of take a look at them, there's some similarities in the way the tubing, you know, it doesn't kind of crunch up here small and then expand back out again like some models do, or even student models. It's very much, and the Con 6H is like this, where it pretty much goes straight up, around, and straight down. That's also what's going on here with the Martin, and it's also pretty much what's going on here with the Olds. So I think there's something to be said about that design feature. Anyway, if you look at the bracing too, this hand brace here, of course, on the Holton, it's curved, which is kind of reminiscent of other horns in the past. I know the Yamaha does that. The Holton TR100, which is basically Yamaha, does that. The Reynolds do that. And if you look at where it's placed, I know it's just a lot of background visual noise here. It's a little higher than you would see here on this one. Now this is also interesting. These have adjustable braces right here, and the Martin does not have an adjustable brace, and that's probably what's contributing to its lightweight. Same here, no adjustable braces. These are fixed. Okay, we come over here to the Olds. We have adjustable braces right here. But the way it's constructed is the Martin is not as front heavy as the other two horns are without the counterweight. And I have to say that this counterweight's probably the heaviest of the three, because when I hold the horn, it feels weighty in my hands, but well balanced. And actually the slide feels pretty light. So this is kind of great. You know, these are the horns that are gone but not forgotten, in my opinion. So they're all roughly about the same weight. They're all about 3 pounds, except for the Martin, which is under 3 pounds. And all the slides are close. 7 ounces on the Olds, almost 8 ounces, 7.8 ounces on the Martin, and then 6.5 ounces on the Holton. It's kind of bizarre, because this is a really light slide. This is the heaviest slide, but the lightest horn. Well, again, and I measured it without the counterweight. So if I was to weigh this horn with the counterweight, let's see what that would come out to. There we go. So with the counterweight, it's still under 3 pounds. Okay, 3 pounds would be 2 pounds 16 ounces. It's 2 pound 14.3. So even with the counterweight, it's still lighter than the other two horns. So yeah, and these are pretty spectacular. I get a warmer sound here with the rose brass bell. But the other two horns, the Martin is much more responsive. It's warm in its own way, but not like the other two. The Olds, which from what I understand was designed from a blank slate from the ground up and doesn't sound like any other Olds. And I can attest to that because I did a video on this. It doesn't sound like any other Olds made from the 50s all the way up until this point. Now, the early Olds prior to World War II, where they had a straight one-piece bell and tuning in the slide, those were pretty warm. I got one of those, and I'm probably going to do a video on some of my Olds collection at some point in time. But anyway, those are the stats on these three horns. So what I'm going to do next, I'm going to set up the tripod, and I'll do a little play comparison. And I'm going to play the same tune on all three horns, and it's probably something you've heard ad nauseum in a bunch of my other videos. Okay, so here we go. We're going to start with the Martin TR4501, and I'm going to be playing each of these horns on my Marcinkiewicz 5 GW. And if some of you are familiar with that model, GW stands for Gregory Wall, who was my private teacher and my baritone instructor in the Velvet Knights from 1981 all the way until I aged out, and then beyond that until about 1992 is when he was with the Corps. But yeah, Greg Wall, 5 GW. I believe he designed this actually for the Drum and Bugle Corps and some of his students, so it's a little more conical on the inside. Okay, so we're going to start with a couple tunes. All right, so that's the Martin TR4501. I don't know if I'm going to remember all these tunes in the same order, the other horns. All right, next up, we're going to go with the Olds P16 500 bore. Here we go. Now the Holton TR100 500 bore. Okay, my chops are hurting. So there's the 3 horns, there's the 3 colors, all played on the same mouthpiece, with me getting weaker as each horn goes by. Each one's super special, super warm, wonderfully responsive, and special in their own way, and no longer available. So I hope you enjoyed this video looking at horns that no longer are, but were awesome when they were. Quick little plug, subscribe to my channel if you would, like my videos. I'd like to get to 500 and eventually get to 1,000. And I'd like to do it in, not like 4 or 5 years if possible. And I'm going to keep bringing new content and new reviews and new horns to your phone or computer at least once to every 2 weeks. And I've got plenty of other reviews I still want to do. I want to do a review on my Holton collection, my Olds collection, my King collection, my Bisher collection, my York collection, my old, I did say olds already. I want to do this thing on the Pan Americans. Okay, some of the like old student horns. I got a couple of those and a bunch of other fun things that I have. So stay tuned. I'll be bringing all that to you. Hopefully you appreciate it. And I can't keep these horns forever. So at some point in time, I'm going to start moving them out. And I'm sure it'll make my wife happy. But right now, I've got a Yamaha up on reverb, and I've got about 8 other horns I need to just finish up and get up on there. So please watch my channel, watch my reverb channel. It's all called Ron's Garage. Anyway, thanks a bunch. I'll talk to you soon if I don't talk to you later. Bye-bye.